Hopefully there's no audio problems on Facebook. Okay, so like I said, I've gone through 3 sets of logs on Oanda. So I'll take you to the beginning. So this one starts at 11:30, November 30th. What I just want to show you are the random moves of any particular cryptocurrency pair. This is a 5-minute move on ZRX BTC. You can clearly see that the move is at 1% in 5 minutes. Another example is 0.84. What other numbers can I show you here? 1.16 over an hour. Some fairly big moves. Sometimes these moves can be much, much bigger. Let me see if I can pull up a 2% move. Right here. So on a 15-minute move on BNB, 15-minute move BNB BTC, we have a 2% move. So you can clearly see that this asset class moves quite nice. But when you randomly, and I'll take you to the beginning here on FX, right now this log has been tracked since 10/26, end of October. Now I've gone through the entire log. There's over 10,000 entries. Any random move here, rate of change, 0.1%, 5-minute move, 0.06%, and I'll even take it into the middle portion of the log, so line 5,000. So let's say a 5-minute move, 0.2%, 0.38% for a 15-minute, and then a 1 hour, 0.28. There are rarely, let me just take you to just maybe towards the end here. So I'll just do a more recent one as an example. Let's see here. Okay, so 11:19 moves are 5-minute, 0.18. And again, if you go through the typical logs on what's from the watch list, you'll see the usual Turkish lira against something, or there's the rand against something, like here. Again, 1 hour move, 0.22%. I mean, I'll do a little bit more just so you can get the idea. Okay. So we're getting into the more recent time. So let's say, again, move 0.039%, 5-minute, 15.06, 1 hour, 0.53. Here's one. Over an hour, 1.27, 15-minute, 0.2, 0.06. So when you factor in lots of moves are well over, a lot of the times in the world of crypto, a lot of the times they are well over, let's just see here, well over 1%. I could just find a more recent set, so that will include all the bad times, supposedly, where the markets get crushed. XMR today, it's fairly volatile, but you can see here we have a 5.5% move. Litecoin against Ethereum, 4.47 move on an hourly. We also, let me see what else we have here. Again, ZRX, 15-minute move, 1.39%. Litecoin against Ethereum, 5-minute, 1.8%. So when you factor that in against, once again, against FX, you rarely see 1%, let alone it's very minuscule compared to crypto. Now, it gets even scarier with the CFDs. Right now, the system's been running for well over 12 hours. The moves have been so minuscule on forex that nothing gets added to the watch list, whereas there are some CFDs that get added to the watch list. Has been the same for pretty all the 12 hours, And it's kind of bizarre because I can't sit here, and this is from Oanda. I can't sit here and blame Oanda. What you need to understand when you look at the volume here on this one, October 30th, 38 is the total volume. Here's the huge problem with this. Okay, so we've got a percent move of 0.1% on 5%, 15.65, and hourly 0.51. But here's where it gets bizarre. If I copy this entire line, let me just take you right to the beginning. Okay, this is where it gets bizarre because there's literally not enough volume to change this. So you can clearly see, starting here at October 30th, 2027, 52 seconds. Look at the moves; they have not changed, and this is starting at 2019 all the way. Let's see. Oh, it just changed from the time of 2028. Yeah, let's say 1027, and it only took roughly, wow, I will say roughly over half an hour before you got a change. That's pretty sad. So all of these moves that you see, and I've been tracking for the last, let's say, 6 weeks, they're kind of meaningless. And I purposely tested for that because you can't trade like this on a broker like Oanda. There's just no way. You can't do that. So when you look at the minuscule moves, worse than forex, 15-minute move, 0.022. Oh, okay, we got a little bit more volume at 902, and throughout the log, it's entirely like this. So if I take today, the only ones that are supposedly moving are corn USD and US bond 30-year US dollar. So again, you can see here just the corn on the 5-minute move. It's negative 0.13, and it's been like that starting at time 15:15, and it has not moved at all for pretty well 23:37. So this move has not taken place at all since 3 o'clock, and it's like 1:30 right now because the volume is pretty well non-existent at a whopping 4. So that CFD has not moved during that time. Same thing with the US bond 30-year, I bet. So we have it here, a 5-minute move starting at 15:15 again. At 5-minute move, the ROC rate of change was 0.11%. 0.11%. Let's see if it's moved. And that volume was 4 again. Wow. I'm sorry, yeah. So this bond is at 4, and the corn USD was at 18. So let's see here. Yeah, it has not changed again at 23.27. That's pretty sad. So it's just to show you there's no liquidity whatsoever in these CFDs. I have to gauge, but it really makes you think, is it worth trading CFD and forex on any broker? And remember, Oanda is the largest broker in the world. I've shown a video about 2 weeks ago regarding that. So when you factor in to get the same moves that you would get in the world of crypto on Binance, you would quite literally, just on some of the other, you may need to have anywhere from 3 times to 10 times leverage to get the same rate of moves or rate of change on forex that you would get on crypto. The thing is, if the move goes against you, which it can, and it likely will, you will lose a ton of money trading at up to 10 times leverage to get the same leverage of or the same rate of return as you would with crypto. And with crypto, there is no leverage needed to get these kind of moves over a 5 minute, 15 minute, or hour. If you make the calls right, which I'm hoping to do, you can make some good money. I've done it before, but where I got distracted was back 5 weeks ago was to add in the CFDs and the forex to see if it's valid to trade. I've spent 5 weeks on it, building out everything, making it stable. But when you look at the trading side of it, it's not worth touching. It's nothing wrong to report because I think that information can be valid to give you an idea of where the market is. But when you factor in, because that's real market data coming in from Oanda, that's a real live account. So same with Binance as well. So that's real market data. So it does have a little bit of use, but not for trading. So for me, it's quite obvious I'm going to be just focusing now on the trading, on crypto. And the next step is, because I only focus on the top 40 of crypto, I'm going to expand the selection of crypto back to what it was originally at 300, learning from what I've already learned during along that way to be able to track the whipsaws, to track other things, to minimize the loss. Because here's the thing, I need to validate this, but if I do go back to my CFD folder here, let me just do that. Am I in? Yeah, okay, so if I do a P&L script, which I have, the P&L will show you what's going on. Just waiting for it to process. It's like little men need to wake up. Okay, we'll come. Oh, here we go. Okay, so here's what we have. Today is, well, actually, there's been a couple of trades already. We'll just start with the December. I mean, I will tell you, the markets have been crushed over the last few set of weeks. So here you can see these kind of big losses going all the way back to November 24th, down 14.6, down 0.2, down negative 21. So obviously you don't take pride in those kind of losses, but I will tell you there is not a lot of profit here, starting from November 24th to today, which is 1:30, December 7th. We have here how many positions were tried to put on for just today. So we had 3 Litecoin and BNB Ethereum positions were put on, but the very last column here is the P&L. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So let me take that back. Those numbers I just gave you were incorrect. So those numbers were the rate of change percent. So if it's down 14.61% on November 24th, also, yeah, so we are the rate of change. So that results in a little bit of profit here, and again, we're only trading the minimal unit. So here we've taken a few losses. Again, as I mentioned, which was, that will include the commission fee, which is very tiny. I think it's 0.1%. So that's why, even though it shows a 0% rate of change, it will have to also include the commission fee. So here, the most recent on today, December December 7th of 12:24 my time. ICX Ethereum down 0.12. So the point here is, if this is the rate of change percent since that position was put on, you'll notice there's a lot of these zero moves. What I do is, I've gotten it to a point now where, with the system back 6 weeks prior, I was able to, once the rate of change changes and goes below, I believe it's 0.25 or probably 0.5%, it really actually switches based upon the market conditions. But there's always going to be this small buffer that is positive to include when there's a very fast moving whipsaw on top of the commission fee. So a lot of these positions will close out, I'm hoping, in the nick of time, where you are not taking any form of loss or a very high percentage. These ones, I hope they won't happen again, because again, this is before that time period of whipsaws. But again, sometimes you can't really protect yourself 100% of the time, but it's definitely minimizing the loss, which is part of the aim. Obviously, you want to have more positive returns, but from my perspective, looking at the logs of the forex and CFD, it just shows there's no moves there. You'd have to use a high percentage of, or a high rate of leverage to get a similar return. But if you lose, you're going to lose money fast and blow the count in no time. So just want people to be aware of that. I'm just wondering if this stream is up and running. I think it is. So anyways, I'm not sure if there's any feedback, but I'm going to end the session now. It is 1:30 my time in the morning, but I put a lot of analysis into this, and that's what I'm concluding, that based upon what I'm seeing over the last 5 weeks of testing, there's virtually no opportunity in forex or CFD trading on Oanda. Again, the largest broker in the world, and if you can't get any rate of return with Oanda, I don't see it any other different with any other broker, considering you got to get any form of return at a high risk with of probably a very high rate of leverage, which in my mind is just not worth it compared to what I just showed you in Binance, crypto, largest exchange in the world. Hopefully it'll help you out, and you have yourself a good day, evening, and we shall talk to you soon.